Yeah.
What's poppin', T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and I'm here with this week's All Tea All Shade Married at First Sight Season 16 Episode 6 review. I drop videos Monday through Sunday. Everything that I say is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken seriously or literally. So if that works for you, then let's get into this review. So we're going to start off this week with Dominique and McKinley. So her attraction for him at this point is a 6.5 out of 10, and romance wise, she is at a 3. She's really not feeling the fact that he is constantly joking. It's a bit much for her, and it's kind of getting on her nerves. And she even mentions it to her mom when they speak to one another. Maybe it's just he doesn't know her like that, so it's like a conversation filler or something for him, or, you know, a coping mechanism. I don't know. Maybe she's just a more serious person than he is. I like a man that's gonna make me laugh because I'm goofy and I like to play and I play all day. So I need somebody that's gonna either be able to match that or accept that about me. The couples all gather together to see how everybody is doing, and she brings up him joking a lot and trying to figure out, you know, is there any truth to what he's saying when he's joking? Because she really doesn't know his sense of humor that well at that point. All the girls then gather to have, you know, girl talk, and she mentions to them that she doesn't like that he complains so much about, you know, not wanting to try things and just want to do this or not wanting to do that, because, you know, she's a get up and go type of girl, and she like, if you gonna do it, do it. She basically don't want to hear no complaining about it. Later on, he does apologize to her for complaining so much and joking around, and she accepts his apology, but you can already tell that there are issues brewing between them. And based off what we saw in the trailer, it looks like she's going to end up kissing Clint at some point. So I'm giving their chances of surviving at this point a 0 out of 10 because she seems like she's a little bit too controlling and critical of people. I don't know how I'm feeling about her. I don't really know. What y'all think about them? We then move on to Jasmine and Airris, and they get couples massages with one another. He didn't really think that him never being in love was a bomb like it was to her. Like, because she was completely taken aback by the fact that this man is almost 30 or either 30 years old and has never been in love. So that really rocked her to her core. So she brings up the fact after they, you know, do their couples massages, and she gets up and then starts to massage him herself. She brings up the fact that this is their first time like really touching each other outside of like a cuddle. And I've noticed on every episode since they've been together that she's always getting up doing stuff for him, feeding him, rubbing on him, like he treats her almost like a servant. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like that, because we have yet to see him cater to her in any type of way. And I need for her to stop immediately. So Airris was like, when she brought up the fact this is their first time ever like touching each other, he says, I feel like it's a normal progression. It's moving at a comfortable pace for the both of us. And she was like, I feel like you're being sarcastic. And in her confessional, she was like, he was just talking about sex and now he doesn't seem to be interested. And that's a little alarming for me. Now, mind you, it's been 3 days since the sex conversation that he brought up when they were at dinner that one episode. So at first, when I was watching this, I was like, well, what do you want? You didn't want him discussing sex with you. And now that he isn't and trying to take it at your pace, now you finding issues with it. So at first I was side-eyeing her like, girl, make up your mind. Like, cause you irritate me at this point. Like, do you want him to be that way with you, or do you not want him to be that way with you? So after they met up with the other couples, afterwards they had a one-on-one conversation with each other. And Airris brings up how Nicole changed her mind about having, relations night too. And Jasmine was like, you mean the same could be said about you? And Airris was like, backs will be blown out in due time, because, he had told the guys that before he got married, he was like, it's going to be some back cracking, and that has not happened between them. So he views it as a positive that he's not focused on relations with her, because in the past, that's all he did concentrate on. So at this point, he's kind of unsure if she's even attracted to him. He doesn't have a clear read on her. And at this point, mind you, I'm thinking, okay, he realized that he offended her about having relations and he was being too forward. So he's trying to back it up and get to know her for her first before they are intimate with one another. That's what I'm thinking at this point. So, the girls meet up with the guys meet up with the girls, and the girls are all talking, and, they're talking about their relationships and everything and how they think about and feel about the guys. And they're mentioning to Jasmine how Airris was like, she's so pretty, this, that, and the third. And she was like, well, I don't feel like he's trying to rip my clothes off at this point. Like, she doesn't even know how he feels about her. She was like, yeah, he says I'm pretty and stuff, but it's not adding up. And she also says that she feels pressure because he's never been in love before. So she's already putting herself through a lot mentally, because she's trying to figure out where she stands with this man and get to know him and give him the benefit of the doubt at the same time, which is a lot to deal with. Then over there on the guy's side, Airris tells the guys that on a scale of 1 to 10, he feels like she looks at him like he's a 12. And he looks at her like she's like a 4 out of 5 as far as attractiveness and attraction. And I was like, oh, wow. And because I'm like, what made him feel that way? Because when they first got married, he was saying how pretty she was, this, that, and the third. And he was like, he feels guilty because he likes bigger booty women like Megan Thee Stallion. And, Jasmine is more on the slim side. And I'm like, you look howdy doody looking at, don't even get me to go in there. Like, don't get me wrong. Airris is not a bad looking guy, but seen better, been with better, boy, bye. And she is a really cute girl with, good morals. At first I thought I wasn't going to like her, but I really like Jasmine. And I honestly feel like she's too good for him. He's more of like a F-boy. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think that he was ready for marriage. Maybe he needs to go ahead and be kissing cousins with his cousins that's so, enamored with him and obsessed with him, because boy, get out of here. Please get out of here with your foolishness. Ugh. So then after they meet up with the girls and the guys separately, they sit down and have a talk on the beach. And she admits that she feels pressure to make him fall in love with her, considering the fact that he's never been in love. And she was like, I don't know if I should hold back. I'm scared I'm going to get there with you, and then you don't feel that towards me. And Airris was like, I just feel like everyone needs to pump the brakes. And it's just like, dude, she's opening up to you. She's being vulnerable and telling you what her fears are. She's not saying that she's in love with you right now. She's just talking hypothetical. And, this is huge. Y'all already married, first of all. So if this doesn't work out, this is going to be very, damaging to her. Like, it's going to hurt her. And so she was like, I'm not saying I'm in love with you right now. I know I fall in love easy. What's scary to know is that it's impossible for you right now. And Airris was like, for me, it's just time. It's just time. Well, girl, yeah, you're right. It's time. But we don't have the luxury of years and years to get to know one another. We literally have weeks. And based off what you told me, I don't think that by the end of this process, you will be there with me. You will be in love with me, or even love me at all. So that's her fear, and it's a genuine fear for her to have. And I would think that he would be a bit more understanding of that. But he's so worried about having relations and all of this other extra foolishness. Child, as far as them making it in the end, right about now, 0 out of 10, child. Shaquille and Kirsten are up next. And they, gather with the couples and, have the whole couples talk. And she brings up the fact that, she wasn't so happy that he had a bald head, but says that he checks all her other boxes. And she then brings up the fact that, physical attraction is something that, can grow. You know what I'm saying? So she's, basically keeping out hope. And Gina tells her that, she went through the same thing in the past relationship and that it did end up growing and it was a great thing. So after that, we see them take a dance class with each other and they really were in it with each other, like having a great time. Shaquille got rhythm. He could dance. They looked like they were actually having an enjoyable time with one another. So the guys gathered together and Shaquille says that she feels like I'm always giving a speech. And she was like, are you Martin Luther King Jr.? And he was like, she's not vulnerable at all. And I don't think that she's not a vulnerable person. I just think that with him, she has her wall up because she either does not like him or is trying not to like him. I don't even know where Kirsten is mentally at this point because she gives off so many different signals that you don't even know which one to push and which one to walk away from or avoid. Like, you don't even understand. And I think that it's leaning more towards her not liking him or viewing him more as a friend. So afterwards, they have a talk with one another. He reveals to her what Airris said when the guys all got together. And I don't feel like he should have did that. I don't feel like he should have did that at all because you already know how girls talk and she run back and tell old girl that, then that's going to cause problems in they, marriage or whatever. I felt like you should have kept the conversation between the guys and the same thing with the girls. I didn't like that. Like, that was for me a little bit too gossipy for me. But at the end of the day, they are on a reality show and they do got to get it popping. Kirsten is shocked to hear that Airris does not find Jasmine attractive because, he was saying earlier how he thought she was so pretty and all of this stuff. And she feels like you should just be honest instead of sitting up here lying. And now that I agree with. I agreed with that 100%. So Kristen says to him, I'ma always be honest. Like, I feel like you joke and play too much. So he was taken aback by that. And he was like, I mean, you already said you weren't physically attracted to me. And now you don't like that I have a sense of humor. Like, what do you like about me? And she was like, I want you to have a sense of humor, but it's a time and a place for everything. And he was like, you have a guard up too. It's like, I don't know if I'm doing right or wrong. And Kirsten is like, it doesn't sound like you like to take criticism. And he was like, no, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. And so Kirsten shuts down and was like, do you, honey? All passive aggressive. So Shaquille was like, but you don't like that. You don't like when, I'm being funny. So tell me, like, what's good? So Kirsten's like, I'm honestly done with the conversation. I don't like going around in circles. When I say something, I said it. I just want to get you to, I just want to get to know you. Then we can joke and play. And so he takes the time to think about it for a second. And he was like, look, I understand. Because she puts it to him in a way of, we only got but so much time to get to know one another. I want to get to know you versus joking and playing around. And I feel like that was a way for her to get out of looking like a biatch. Because that's what she was giving off at that point. And I think that she checked herself and realized, oh, we are in front of cameras and the world. And she has an image to uphold because she was coming at him sideways and for no good reason at all when he has been nothing but, from what we've seen, very accommodating and understanding. And it's always him cowering or agreeing with her and never her giving in and compromising for him. I just think that she's a nitpicker and wants stuff to complain about. I really honestly do. It's it went from him talking at her. Now he joke and play too much. Now she don't like the fact that he bald and da da da. It's like one thing after another. She's a nitpicker. She's not happy with anything. She one of them girls, it comes across to me, where she like a man to do her bad. She like for a man to treat her wrong and to not act like he care and to cheat on her, lie to her, and all that type of stuff. She seemed like she is the type of woman do not like a good, nice man. She want a man to treat her bad, and that's how it comes across to me. I give their chance of survival at this point a 2 out of 10 because I think he too good for her. Nicole and Chris are up next, and she just gushes about how she loves going to sleep cuddling with him and waking up cuddling with him. He's a big cuddler himself, and she says, it makes her feel wanted by him. Like she's fully into it, or either she's trying to make herself be fully into it. I don't really know which one it is at this point, because it's giving me sometimes she's genuine in the fact that she really likes him, and then other times it feels like she's trying to force herself to like him. They discuss their past relationships once more, and he says that the toxic relationship he was in the past, that they were together for a year and a half and they only had relations 3 times. And she was like, what? He was like, yeah. And then he was like, the relationship after that, they use relations as a band-aid to, heal issues or to get past issues. And it wasn't healthy. And she says that she experienced some of the same things in the past in her relationships. Like they do have a lot in common when it comes to their past and their past traumas. They both seem like they have dealt with insecurities and low self-esteem issues. So those are really big red flags to me. But then again, it could be something that they could bond over, maybe, even though that's a bad thing, or relate to one another and maybe help one another heal from that by accepting one another. So they do couples horseback riding with the other couples. And I forgot to mention how McKinley did not want to do it. He is not the adventurous type. He did not want to ride the horses in the ocean. And when they did, one of the horses ended up poo-pooing in the water, and he had to end up trudging through it. Baby, let me tell you something. Let me tell you who would have been mad. Let me tell you who would have been pissed for the rest of the day, that I had to trudge through feces. You know how disgusting that is? And I meant to mention how Dominique wasn't even really that concerned. She was just like, oh, suck it up. Girl, you want the one that had to get feces on you. That is disgusting. That would make me never want to ride another horse again in life. Okay. During one of their talks, though, Chris admits to Nicole that he only washes his clothes once a month, and that he is lazy. When he gets off of work, he likes to just sit and chill and eat with his dogs or whatever, and that he fears it'll be a turnoff for her. Yeah, it would be a turnoff for me. Yeah, most definitely. You're not going to tell me that you're going to keep nasty, funky clothes sitting up for a month before you wash them. And you're admitting that you lazy. You just like to sit around, I guess, in filth. Disgusting. And she was very understanding. She was like, if you're working and you want to come home and relax, I understand that, but on the weekends, we need to clean up. And he was like, yeah. Nah, girl, you need to tell him he needs to get up, not just on weekends, because that means Monday through Sunday you're going to be the one that's cleaning up and behind him, helping him clean and all that. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. No. We're not doing that at all. So the guys, like I said, get together and have their group meeting. He reveals to the guys that she loves to hold hands, and he doesn't really like that much. And I'm like, well, why don't you just say it? Like, stop being a wimp, sir, and just say how you feel about things. So Clint says that, she's going to test him and stomp all over him. Like, he got to stand his ground and stay in his place. And Chris was taken aback by the things that he was saying, but was in his confessional saying that Clint likes to be the center of attention, so he just let him have it. See, that's your problem. You let people disrespect you and then you don't say nothing, and people think that they can treat you and talk to you any kind of way. You got to learn how to stick up for yourself as a man, or your relationship isn't going to work. I don't think that she's going to be an outright biatch to him, but I do think that his not willing or not liking confrontation will end up being an issue for her. I still, however, have high hopes for these two. I think that they can work it out. I think we're getting to know one another, time, patience, understanding, maybe even couples therapy, just being around each other, learning each other's quirks, that they could actually make it. I still have very high hopes for them. So at this point, I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10 as far as them lasting in the end. Last but certainly not least, we have Clint and Gina, child. And let's just hop into it. She is not into that man. She don't like that man. She don't want that man. She is not attracted to him. Her body language, her facial expressions, everything shows it. It's all over her. It's written all over her face. She don't have to say a word. Like, if you pay attention, she never even looks this man in the eye. She is so disgusted. I've been there where you can't even look at the person. You're so unattracted to them. So they're in the pool having a really beautiful breakfast with one another. And this lady sits up there and constantly talks about her job. Like, oh my God. And maybe she's doing that because, once again, she doesn't see it for him. So ain't no point of really revealing who she is and even taking out the time to allow him to get to know her. But she sits there and talks about that salon nonstop and cuts him off after asking him about his job. She doesn't even let him get a word out before she then goes back to talking about Gina and this dang on salon. So Clint was like, I'm trying to get deeper with her, but everything goes back to the salon. Like, he is so sick of it. So once again, the couples gathered together for the couples meeting. Clint jokingly says to Airris, have you blown her back out yet? And everybody laughs, but it was kind of like, what? And even Jasmine was looking like, is that what he said? Like, huh? No. So Gina admits to everybody that their biggest struggle thus far has been physical chemistry. She was like, I don't think there's a secret sauce of physical chemistry. We actually have kissed several times. Now, if I'm Clint and you've already told me that you don't like my ginger features, you don't like my red hair, your ex was a ginger, which doesn't help, and that he can't help it because it's just him. And then we get in front of the group and you tell them that physically we've been having issues when it comes to chemistry. You know what I'm saying? He's never said that he wasn't attracted to her. So it ain't no we, it's you at this point. So I would feel attacked as well and feel like I was being put like on Front Street and like she was taking a dig at me once again. So Clint was like, well, typically the girls that I have dated are very athletic and slender. That's the mold that I'm attracted to. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. She says she doesn't like redheads. So, here we are. And all the girls' faces drop. And they are like, I cannot believe this man just said that. Like, they think that he is so rude and absurd. And her face drops like she's embarrassed because, he attacked her physically. But I'm like, girl, the way you attacked him, it's kind of like payback at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't say it in a nice way when you said that you didn't like the way he looked. You literally said he couldn't do nothing about his ugly. So it was messed up that he said it in front of everybody else. But like, how many times you gonna sit up here and say that you don't like me physically and I'm just supposed to sit here and kind of like take it? Now, was what he said messed up? Yeah, it was. You don't talk about a woman's weight, but she started it and he finished it, child. And he finished it all right. He did. So once again, the girls and the guys get together. They split up. The girls let Gina know that they were offended for her when Clint made the comments about, her weight. And on the guy's side, McKinley was like, you said she was a bit thicker. And Clint was like, no, I didn't. I didn't say that. And I was like, yeah, you did. And he was like, I typically date more slender women. It's not the physical part. It's all about the salon. Is this a big promo for the salon? At this point, he's wondering, did she use the show as a way to get her business out there? Because it doesn't seem like she's trying to get to know him at all. So McKinley was like, I don't know what you thinking, or because I think she's sexy. I think you're crazy. And everybody was kind of looking at him like, did you really just say you think that his wife is sexy? Like, how inappropriate. Like, you trying to get on her? Like, what is going on? Like, everybody is just all over the place. I wish that Gina would have admitted to the girls what she said about him, instead of making it seem like he just was dogging her for no reason. And Clint needs to admit that he did, talk about that girl weight. And wasn't it mighty funny that the two most passive aggressive women on this show, Gina and Kirsten, both were wearing green bathing suits? Wasn't that interesting? After the girls meet up, Gina and Clint reunite, and she says to him that she was offended by the weight comment. And he was like, do you think that using the term ginger is offensive? And she was like, no, I'm a hairstylist. Like, I've never heard that was offensive, but if it offended you, then I'm sorry. And Clint was like, I was defining relationships. Gina was like, I need someone who can read the room. The ladies were offended. Clint says, I'm just telling you what I typically date. Gina said, if you don't feel like you did anything wrong, then I don't think we need to spend I think that we need to spend time apart for the rest of this honeymoon. I'm done. And Clint was like, you should be done, because she has no leg to stand on. I think she's looking for it out. And everything is trying to put everything on me in a way of making her look good. And I agree. I 100% agree. He pegged her right. She did use this moment as a way to get away from him, because she didn't want to be around him at all. You could tell she was just not attracted to him. He was an ick for her, and she used this situation as an out. I 100% agree with Clint. I would have preferred for her to just say, you know what, this ain't gonna work for me. Like, it just really, I tried, but the vibe just ain't there. The chemistry isn't there. I can't see myself liking you in that way. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste mine. Let's just go ahead and get this annulled and call it a day. But you attacked that man physicality first. He gave it back. And then I felt like she did try to use it as a way out of the situation. And that's very unfortunate, because they both deserve better at the end of the day. I give their survival rate at this point a 0 out of 10, child. 0 out of 10. That is it, honey. That is my review of this week's Married at First Sight, child. These folks are losing their mind, and I am here for it. Y'all let me know down below in the comments section what y'all felt about tonight's episode. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.